And we are talking to vocal group Hall of Famer inductee Little Anthony.
How did you get your name?
It wasn't because of my stature, my size at all, because I was very average, so it wasn't really little in that respect. But Alan Freed legend says that a record promoter came in to promote my record, Tears on My Pillow, and at that time it was the Imperials. And the way it goes is he played it for Alan, and Alan says, "Gee, that little girl can sing." The record promoter said, "Well, that's not a girl, that's a guy." He said, "He must be awfully little."
I have to say, when I hear you in person, you don't sound as high pitched. On the phone, you said, most people say, "Yes, Mrs.
Miss.
Yeah. They think that you are a woman, but not in person. You sound very...
It's just basically on the phone, you know. I was listening to Tony Bennett interview today. And he has that, when he sings, it's so pure. But when he speaks, it's like he's got laryngitis.
That's a compliment.
I gotta ask him about that, but that's how it is.
So who do you listen to on your off time?
The things, I'm a kid out of Brooklyn, black kid out of Brooklyn who loves opera. So I listen to a lot of opera. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Still?
In fact, I'm going to La Scala. I'm going to Italy, hopefully next year, so I can listen to some of Puccini's work. Yeah, I picked that up when I was a kid. The teacher, Mrs. Ethel Mannix, was just a great lady who just taught me about music. She taught me about classical music and having an open mind to music. A lot of the kids didn't want to deal with it, they wanted to go off and play. But I was fascinated. And then she taught me the masters, and then I picked it up, and that was it. They tell me I have perfect pitch. In other words, I can pick a note out of the air. I don't know how to do it, but
that's incredible. Not many people have perfect pitch.
no, I knew one, and that was I'll show you when you get older, your mind starts drifting. There's so many people do have it, as singers have it. But Ray Charles was probably one of the best. He just was a voice metronome. He wouldn't miss a note, no matter what. And there are quite a few. Mel Torme was one.
Yes.
Let's see who
His
else.
son is coming to the Smith Center, by the way.
Really?
Yes, he's going to be on Las Vegas Backstage.
He was my idol. He's one of my idols.
Mel Torme?
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Who else was one of your idols?
Nat Cole, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Frankie Lyman the Teenagers. Quite a few. I was just blown out when I heard them. Jackie Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Thought he was the greatest thing in the world. And so I was influenced by those guys. I was also influenced by jazz, because my father was a jazz musician. He played alto and tenor sax. And he played with big bands for years. He played with the Buddy Johnson Orchestra for years, with Eddie Johnson and all that. And so I was always exposed to that kind of music.
That's okay. So we talked about this because you played the Catskills, which cracks me up. That just cracks me up because I come from the Catskills.
Yeah.
Yes, and I just think it's hilarious because I really want to show this on video. I want you to talk about your experience in the mountains, your worst experience.
I've had some goodies. It's traditional in the mountains. And you have families, and everything is in order. You eat together. Doesn't matter if you're a big star. You got to eat with everybody and have this big old,
Yes.
And if you miss a meal, too bad.
Oh yeah, that's exactly
so
right.
we used to play these bungalows, and these bungalows, man, only about maybe 50, 60 people, 70 people, but we would look for a band. We'd get there, it's on our contract. They'd have a drummer and a guitar player. It was...
That was the whole thing.
Yeah, it was a lesson learned. It's just the same kind of lesson that I learned in the Chitlin circuit, playing the Apollo and the Regal Theater and the State Theater and the Royal Theater, all those theaters around the country, which were black performers, and that's where I met some of the greatest, Red Fox and Moms Mabley and all these great comedians and singers. The mountains was the same thing from a different standpoint. Because it was predominantly Jewish, I had found the secret. Now it wasn't me. It was Kenny Seymour. He used to be our musical director. He was saying, you know, if we could just do a song that they would really relate to, man, like something really dramatic. And we found one was Exodus, the other one was Ailey Ailey.
Of course.
And we started doing it. And it
Yeah,
just
start singing some LA.
it knocked them down. The word got out. On the
They
different
couldn't
hotels.
believe it that you were
No,
doing
they
this.
wanted that was it. I want to hear him do that. That was so many years ago. I can't remember all the words, but I
You
learned.
did it
I
on
learned
the radio. It was great.
Yeah, I learned it phonetically. So it was. I just sung with emotion, and there had some women that cried, literally. So that's what got us in, and then we became like the regulars. Us and Robert Klein.
Oh my goodness.
I missed him no number of years. We used to play every hotel together. He'd be the comedian,
Oh,
we'd be
funny.
the singing group. And in fact, we end up together. I know I'm gonna laugh when I see him. We're doing a cruise for
Royal?
no, the cruise is for Time Life, coming up in November. So he's
Oh,
on the
he's
cruise.
on that?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, because you have this whole thing going on with Time Life
Yeah,
and
yeah.
recordings. Because Little Anthony and the Imperials will never go away. They are part of history. I love that you're still out there and you're still performing. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, do you see yourself
I don't
still?
know if I'm gonna be around.
Oh, come on now.
No, it's an amazing thing. There's certain singers that are just blessed. I can only speak for myself that I'm blessed, and with a voice that is very youthful.
Oh, yeah.
Youthful. And people ask me, he says, how do you do that? What do you do? What's your secret? I have no secret. I said, it's from God. It's unknown. It's supernatural. I don't know. It's just there. And it affects, sometimes when I'm singing, it affects me. You know,
You get emotional?
I get
when you're-
emotional. Yeah, if I'm doing something some song that I'm making my own, I can get very wrapped up in the tune. And what happens is when you do that, it transfers itself to the audience. The audience will pick up on that in
yeah.
a minute.
Of
You know,
course.
and when you get feedback from an audience and you have this relationship, you know, I've done a lot of acting things. People don't know that. There are a lot of plays. I did the movies, the television, and everything. But you just sitting there with, you know, there's a camera running, just like this camera right now.
Right.
And you're taught to, it's not there. You know, so you can't have a personal, up close and personal sense of the audience because you don't see the audience.
Right. It's a whole different
But when
thing.
you work live, when you got an
There's
audience,
nothing
out
like
there,
live.
nothing like it. There'll never be nothing like it. No.
And you can't possibly do a live show without an audience, right?
Well,
It's
yeah.
impossible.
I mean, I've done plays, many plays, and that's just a lot of fun. If you do a movie or a TV thing in a camera, it's just, you do it. It's like
yeah.
you're acting because that's what you do, and you got the script, and you do it, and you get yourself involved in your character. But on stage, when you're working with other artists, you get the feel of the audience. If you say something that really hits me, you hear the audience go, ooh.
Ooh, right. They're in the moment.
You say, oh, I got him, I'm on it now.
That's right. That's right. Now, when you said you get emotional with your songs sometimes,
Sometimes.
which songs in particular did you get emotional
Well,
with
it's
a lot?
not necessarily the songs that I've done for many years, because I've done it so many times. It's maybe something that a song that I heard, something from Broadway, something that affects me, and I make it my own. And usually it's talking to me, it's telling me something that I'm sensitive to. So if I get in that area, then all my theatrical training comes to play. And so you can get lost and just be emotionally involved in it, and you don't realize it.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider being a judge on any of these reality shows like Simon
Oh,
Cowell? And,
yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I mean, thank goodness for him. I mean, because the type of talent that's coming out there is real strong. They would never have any place to go if it wasn't for that kind of show, like X Factor or
Sure.
or
Do you
American
watch
Idol.
them?
Sometimes I do. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Man, I've been blown out by some of them that came out of there. And without that, they would have never been heard because you don't have that today. You don't have those vehicles that we had And when I was coming up as a kid, we had joints, man. We had saloons. We could sing anywhere.
That's right.
You know, now you can't. And you could. We call it failing. You learn how to.
Sure.
Before you walk, you know, you crawl. And these poor kids don't have it. A lot of them are thrown out there. They do a record, and then they go boom, and then they cover them up with all kinds of bells and whistles and explosions and rocket ships and everything to cover any of their weaknesses.
Of course. Yeah.
Track work, everything is perfect, you know. We used to do TV live.
That was like
Ed Sullivan was
Fabian, though.
live.
That wasn't that
Well,
Fabian?
no, Fabian, because that was, I call it the Stone Age of rock and roll. I mean, I don't think most people's era wasn't that tuned in those days.
Right.
It was rock and roll. That's what you care about, the beat.
Sure,
You know?
sure.
So you didn't really pay attention to somebody who was singing. Maybe that's one of the reasons why a guy like Frankie Lyman and myself blew up coming out of there. Or Michael Jackson blew up because there was a unique sound that they had. And maybe the audience said there's something really different here, as opposed to a lot of, I'll leave nameless, a lot of artists that, you know, singers that really are not singers. And you even have those kind of cats today.
Right.
Females and males that really, because today everything is image. It's just basically
Of course it is.
image.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not really the talent level. The bar has been dropped a little.
You think
Yes.
that the talent
Because
part-
remember now, we went like the Supremes and all these. We went on Ed Sullivan show live. We rehearsed with Ray Block's orchestra, and then they threw you out there, give you a mark.
Wow.
And ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at millions of people right then and there. Can't make a mistake. You know, I was too young and stupid to realize how big that was.
Wow. Isn't
You know,
that a shame?
Oh, I'm
That's
gonna
a shame.
sing. Oh, I know it's live. You know, the way I was thinking then. I'll just, you know, hopefully I'm okay singing and everything will be fine. I never thought about, well, I remember the words and all that kind of stuff. Today, if you put a lot of these acts in that position, they would really have a tough time.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with it. But see, I'm always thinking from a comedy standpoint, and I know that that's true of the comics.
Yeah.
But I never knew it was true of the singers
We're in
as
the
well.
same boat. Any theatrical people, whether they're comics, dancers, we're in the same boat. We're out there like a piece of meat.
That's right.
And here you are. You go out and you have to make people laugh. That means you got to make them laugh. I got to go out there and make them listen and get involved.
Well, you always could make people listen, little Anthony,
Yeah.
you know. Your voice commands attention. It just does. And I think in Tears in My Pillow, you know, Tears on My Pillow, I was bartending way back then, and on the jukebox, I remember all these guys were playing Tears. I mean, and I'd be like, tears would be in my eyes, you know? It's like, it was just, it changed the mood.
You know, it's an amazing thing you just said that, because I was in England not long ago and there for a birthday party for David Guest and got invited to sing at his birthday party. So
Did you really?
yeah, they flew me over. And so we went out that one night. We went to Cambridge. Cambridge in London is like the Village, you know.
Okay.
In New York. And we went out and we went to a very famous pub where all the rock royalty hang out at. So I go in there and I mean it was raucous. It was raucous. You know, it was a bar, but it's, and I see this guy, he's like playing he's playing a visible guitar. He's got a long trench coat and he's got a black like hat, like yours. And he's got it on and he's going, so David says, you know who that is? I said, who is that? That's Ian Gallagher of Oasis. And I'm going, him? I mean, because everybody was like, that's what they got. You go to England, they drink. And I mean, it was raucous. And the funny part about it, he says to David, we're sitting at the table, he says, he's a little drunk, you know. He goes, who's that? David says, that's little Anthony. He says, what's a little, what is that? He says, no, you remember this song? You don't remember me, Tears on My Pillow. He goes, oh, that's him. He's the guy that sings that song. And and he gets up like this, he goes, tears on my pillow.
Playing your guitar.
When you said tears.
You see, it's etched in our memories.
Right,
Little
right.
Anthony is a. So, how much has management or bad management played in your life?
Oh, bad management played a lot. I wish I had good management. I can only say one person that really was, really helped us to move in an area that we possibly wouldn't have moved was Don Taylor. He used to be Bob Barley's manager.
Oh,
He managed us and Bob, but he started with us. And we made a lot of strides in television, major shows with him. But from that point on, no, we had just one after another.
one after another, yeah. I mean, I can say, from my own experience, it makes all the difference of who is representing you. And looking back, if I knew now, knew then what I know
You
now.
look at all the old guys, man, like George Burns and them cats, and all those comedians and stuff, they had managers for 30, 40 years.
I know.
Some of them, their managers for life. Jerry Lewis had that, what was his name? I came in for forever. And I'm going, wow, why can't we have that, Not when I came up, I don't know about you, but it kind of died off or something, I don't know.
There aren't any. Actually, and the star makers, they get one star and then they drop everybody else.
It's different. It's different now. It's just a sign of the times. It's just different.
Would you ever think of mentoring some act if you found somebody?
I'd like to teach. If I had to teach the way I was taught by some of the finest comedians, and Red Fox was like a second father to me.
Really?
Who taught me every comedy timing on stage. And you see the show, you see I'll do a lot of.
You do a lot of
stuff.
shtick?
Yeah, a lot of shtick. And Ernest is so funny. One of the guys in the group, he's great, man. He plays straight. Sometimes I play straight for him. We
Really?
Yeah, he's fun.
Might you
sometimes I
consider
can't keep my face straight.
Might you consider doing stand-up comedy?
No.
Oh, come on, little Anthony.
No,
I'm
a singer that knows what humor is, but to be a comic,
Yeah.
that's an art form all in itself.
But I could see you being a comic.
No, I can be an actor and act it out and stuff like that, but to do comedy, oh no, too much thinking.
Little Anthony's cracking me up. Thank you so much. I don't want to hog all the time because I promised I would keep this concise. Little Anthony.
Thank you.
And the Imperials are going to be right here at the Cannery, Eastside Cannery, here in Las Vegas. And you live in Las Vegas.
Yeah, for 10 years, yeah.
And we have to see more of you. I would love you to have a regular stint here.
Oh, we love it too, but then again, Vegas is not the Vegas we remembered. It's a little bit different now.
I know.
What is the main place at Caesar's Palace now that actually has headliners? But you really don't see that much at MGM anymore. Copperfield's over there. It's been there for 1,000 years.
Exactly. And it's not the same there either.
Gordy Brown has been the Nugget forever.
Exactly.
But you don't see many singers. I think the last was Gladys Knight. It was at the Flamingo for years.
I think
But
Mary Wilson may be coming back.
Mary, I talked to Mary. Mary's out there. She's doing the thing, but every act that understands what Vegas is about love to have their own showroom because it's at home.
Exactly. The point of living here in Las Vegas is to be able to stay home, not go out on the road.
You go sing, you go to work, you get a pattern. It's easier. Life is much easier.
I agree. But now that I know that you live here, little Anthony, I am going to be stalking you so bad.
I'm here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
Oh, always a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your show tonight here at the Eastside Cannery. Thanks again.